told you I would be back. So here we are, still stuck at the September or October 9th event. Okay, there's no new data that's come up lately. So while we're kind of waiting here for people in the chat room, we're gonna go ahead and, yeah, okay. Hang on, I get you, kitty. I'll get you. Actually, maybe we should start playing that really quick. And it's too fast. Slow that down. Yeah, just a sec, Bubba. I guess we got a little kitty emergency while people are gathering here in the chat. I'm gonna let that play for a second. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Come on, Bubba. Yeah. Okay, here we go, folks. Sorry. God, emergencies that pop up left and right. All right, especially when I try to go live. Funny how that works. Okay, so let me just kind of back up really quick here, show you guys that there's no data for the 10th or 11th since our event, okay? There is here at Stereo A, and we'll get into that in a minute, but I still want to go back and touch base with the 9th here, okay? Because this is our event that's caused our long duration geomagnetic storm, okay? So here it was back on October 9th, and you can see your big object back here with all the CME ejecta going around it, passing over it, defining its little shape. Here's a damage ring that's going around a much bigger object over here. And I'll show you some other images captured before of this bigger object a lot clearer. All right, but this is a damage ring that's about to spread out and go over a big round spheroid over here, okay? It's kind of going off the page and back on. And it delivered that X1.8 and the proton storm. You see all the little sparkles? Okay, so that's your proton storm right there. All right, so while we're kind of getting over here, here's our latest bar that just popped up as I started the show right here. So we're still in this long duration G4 geomagnetic storm right now. Okay. And while we're getting this up, see, severe G4 geomagnetic storm continues, aurora events in progress. I'm sure some of you probably got some aurora pictures. Pretty much around the world, you're going to get them now, because this is almost like a global aurora event. So let's see. Meanwhile, your solar flux index is at 216. It's down 4 points. Your sunspot number count is at 150, and it's climbing 43 more sunspots on there. Okay. All right. Now we're starting to see people show up here. Okay. While we're kind of getting into this, I take a moment to thank you guys for taking a moment of your time to be a part of this precious family. All right. We didn't get that part out of the way yet. So solar flux index, sunspot number count up 43, going back up midway through the yellow range, heading back up towards red again. Meanwhile, our area is decreasing, but that doesn't matter really right now. Boy. And just checking in with our sunspots here. Okay, here's this big mess right here. First of all, this big powerful one, 3849. This big mess of 3849 and 50 all jumbled together here. We have our 38, 54, and 52 all kind of smashed together with regions that could fire across this way, or that too. Okay, so there's multiple configurations that could happen in that one right there. All right, so there's your sunspot for the moment. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about on this G-4, but let's just get through this part, okay? All right, so since our X-class flare over here, we've had another small little one, the M7 7.7, and then it went quiet for a little while. We had a little flop right here, and then right at the end of today, going into the next day, is this huge, not huge, but another healthy M-class right there. All right, so that's how fluxed we are, our GOES X-ray flux. We're getting bombarded right now. Not only at the D layer are we getting hit, but also in the geomagnetic field at the same time. Okay, so it's a double whammy, and you can see these spikes. We almost reached KP9 right there. All right, let me zoom back out really quick here and get this whole page on the screen. All right, so back over here, your 3-day geomagnetic forecast. We are in G4, and they're calling for it into the 11th here. Okay, so this is going to be one of those huge, long duration G4 geomagnetic storm. Okay, and that was from this one. There's another pulse behind it that's another X flare, and that M7.7. Now, something I want to talk about is the arrival time on this. It was early. That was something that was called by these guys, and I usually stick with 3 days, okay? And it arrived way early. So this time I was wrong, and they got it right. So, yay, they're getting it right. And I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Sometimes they do come faster. Maybe these things didn't slow it up so much. If it were the other way around and it was a smaller one, a bigger one, and then this one behind it, maybe that would have been the case. But with the big one out in front, well, maybe these things didn't slow it up at all and just kind of shoving them even faster. It came out really fast. They reported the 5,170 kilometers per second, but we know it's not that much. It was more like 800 or 900. So let's go ahead, and your X flare potential is 40% right now. It's pretty high. We've seen it higher than this before, but that's one of the second highest potentials right there. And your proton storm, 100% because it's still ongoing. This upper layer actually started to diminish and turn into the green, redder zone right there. And we'll pull the D layer absorption map up here in a little bit, but let's continue on here. Meanwhile, our X1.4 is that little one right there after the 1.8. Okay, so we got that one coming, the 7.7 right behind it, and then we got another little 3, but it's off the west limb. Okay, so before we get in, well, just real quick with our sunspots, 38, 52 beta gamma, 54 beta gamma, 49 beta gamma, and the big one, 48, is the beta gamma delta, but it's stable right now, okay? It seems that the event that came off of here had the big object in it, but it also had some trailing moons, which kind of keeping it still beta gamma delta, so that one's still one to watch here. I don't think it's done yet. Okay. Anyways, let's continue on. Wait. I want to open up this really quick. Okay, so here's your global auroras, and this is your right now, your current conditions, all right? And it started off over here in the northern, or on this side of the planet earlier today while we were in daytime, and then it lasted the whole way around, and now it's still rotating around. And if it continues like it's going, whoops, all the way through the 11th here, we could see another round of auroras tomorrow night, possibly too, okay? And it's being seen way far south. And I'm sure there's going to be reports, maybe even down to the equator, because this is a pretty good, strong one right here. Okay. And it's a long duration one, too. So, also, let's take a peek at the KP here. Okay. boom, 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 boom. We got really quiet right before, and then bam, here's our initial wave. Got way up here to 8.5, almost 9. Okay. And all these other places, Boulder, Fredericksburg, all of these guys all got the same blast. Okay. We all recorded the same thing at different locations. So there's your currently the latest reading that just popped up right as I started to go live right here. So it's diminishing down a little bit. It looks like that's our apex here. There's not going to be well, there might be a secondary one. Now this whole thing might do a number on our magnetic field that when this secondary one hits here, this 1.4, all right. If our field's weak and we got a crack in the magnetic field or, BZ pointing south, we could see another round right after this and we'd see a little break in between the two magnetic fields here, between this one and this one. And then we would see another little. If this 1.8 caused a G4, well, the 1.4 could possibly do pretty much the same. All right, so we might be in for a double whammy on this G4 storming here. Hopefully I'm wrong. We'll see what happens here. Okay, but a lot going on and a lot of unexpected things. Even from the perspective that I get to see from too. God's got all kinds of tricks up his sleeve. When you think it's one thing, it's always got you with another. And it's here we go with this G4. This is going to be a lot of absorption, the D layer absorption, all the geomagnetic absorption down to the core. This is really going to do a number down below. And then we are going to see pressure, heat, expand everything down below, the core, the outer core, the magma surrounding it. Everything's going to swell. It's like the overcooked egg. Somebody just turned up the heat right as it's time to pull the egg out of the water, and now it's just going to overboil, and we're going to see some big time effects, I believe, from down below from this event because it has the proton storm accompanying it at the same time. Okay. We'll get into more of that a little bit later. Let me get through this article real quick. The severe G4 geomagnetic storm conditions observed following the CME impact at 1515 on October 10th. The solar wind speed is at or above 700 kilometers per second. And as of this update, the BZ, or the IMF component, ranged from negative 30, oh my God, from negative 30 south to 12 north. Fluctuations should continue, and a prolonged period in negative south territory would help prolong the intensity storm conditions, okay? So the negative tilt also is helping the storm conditions, all right? Aurora skywatchers across Scandinavia, Europe, UK, New Zealand, and southern Australia, Tasmania should all be on alert for visual aurora. I got some going on outside my house right now while I was out praying, and I posted some pictures on my channel here. All right, anyways, I became an aurora photographer tonight. I bet you a bunch of you guys became aurora photographers tonight, didn't you? All right, my friends here in North America, stay tuned for more information. Okay, major aurora event. Viewers in North America, where it's finally getting dark, are now reporting vivid displays of aurora. Viewers, even at low latitudes, should be on the lookout. And I'm not low latitudes, but I'm pretty low for this event, and we can see it nice and clear. So, and I'm in Nevada, northern Nevada. So below is the photograph. Okay, now let's take a peek at the tracker real quick. Just this latest event, we're kind of tracking going away this way. Here's your impact right there. So we saw our CME impact. So that doesn't really matter. Oh, is it this one? No. Wait, it is this one. Yeah, I want you guys to see something here on this one. It's going to show all of it. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me zoom in really quick. I want you guys to see something here. Not on the charts, on this blue one here. Now, last night I was talking about how a lot of these comets head towards this cluster of bigger objects, right? And when we approach that cluster of big objects and all their little satellites are maybe our binary system, okay, possibly our binary system, when we get close to that, it attracts comets. And when we get close to that area, comets come close to the sun. And this one almost looks like a sundiver, but look where it's heading. It's heading to this thing that moved out there. Did you see that? Now watch how everything slows down too. Did you see that thing stall and the CME stall? Watch all the protons still going on. Watch closely. All the protons, everything, this is still moving. It just magnetic field, then release, and then they didn't stop. That thing's still kind of heading towards the thing. We probably slowed up a little bit when that thing came into interaction with the sun here. Okay, just watch this for a minute. And do you see it heading at that dark patch? The dark patch where there's missing light? Now, see, this is the data that's kind of missing right now, but we can capture it on this. Okay, we don't have the difference model, but look how this comet, and I could see if maybe, the tail passed, and now it's changing orientation and the tail comes out of this angle now, but that didn't happen. It kind of came towards the camera, didn't it? I don't know, but that looks more like this comet's heading towards that object than it is our sun. Just interesting. You can come over here to this channel too, or over to this page and check it out yourself. I can't wait to see the difference model on that one, huh? I doubt if we'll get to see it. But we got a good idea of what it looks like there. At least we captured a little bit of it, and you can see the comet really kind of interacting with whatever that it's heading towards that thing, not our sun. And we're traveling through space. Remember, we're not holding still. This whole solar system is moving. So as we move probably closer to these big objects, I think we're going around them. Okay, these other bigger objects have more mass than our sun. So maybe they're not orbiting our sun may be orbiting them. And when we get close to the center where all the comets get drawn to, that thing looks like it's drawn to this thing. I wish we could freeze frame this. You know what we can do though? Let's just give it all we got. Come here nice and slow. Can't go in too tight on it or you won't be able to see it, but ooh, whatever that thing is, it looked like it had structure on it. I'll let you be the judge here. Very interesting. All right, we got to keep moving. You guys can always come over here to Solar Ham and check this out. It's on the open tracker button right there, okay? There's angel wings. All right, let's continue on. Okay, so boy, lots to cover here. So I need a sip of this soda. Okay. So geomagnetic storm now. A geomagnetic storm is underway following the impact of a potent CME on October 10th. Storm levels are currently fluctuating between G3 strong and G4 severe. Auroras have appeared in almost every U.S. state. In almost every U.S. state as far south as Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, and Southern California. Okay, so pretty much everybody's seeing them. The light show is still underway, so if it's dark where you're at, where you live, get away from the city lights and take a look. Helps to take a long duration, long exposure picture of it because it's hard to see very faint in the sky. But if you, these modern cameras, if you do a 30-second exposure of it, you'll catch it just fine. So all these fantastic images, I got some on my channel I posted. Now, the electric currents are flowing through the ground. Electrical currents are flowing through the rocks and soil in the United States in response to today's geomagnetic storm. Red zones in this map from NOAA show where the geoelectric voltages are the highest. Okay? You guys are starting to understand how all this stuff works, right? How pressure comes in, all of a sudden down below it starts to get hotter, it swells, we get grinding, and we get magma movement. Okay, when magma starts roiling or swirling around, roiling and boiling, and then flowing in currents because it flows in where's the sphere? Give me a sphere. It flows in currents going around the planet as the planet rotates way down under the crust, right? So when you get increased flow, moving magma causes a magnetic field. Okay, so when you get magma flowing around and under the crust, the weaker spots here are going to have these magnetic anomalies, and you're going to start to see currents that flow through the rocks and soil. Okay, from all the heat and all the electricity that's down below. Imagine, all right, we are emitting gamma rays right now. This planet is emitting rays like the sun does, but gamma rays. You can't see them. They're not visible in the spectrum for you, but we are emitting a bunch of energy because we're overcharged, okay? This planet is like a big giant battery, which is a capacitor. It's a big capacitor with a pole on one side and a negative pole and a positive pole. And it, just like a battery, you can recharge it and you can overcharge it. And when you overcharge it, then you start to see your volcanoes, your earthquakes, and even plasma emissions from the ground up to the clouds. So it does not surprise me that right now we're seeing a big uptick in voltage that's flowing through the rocks and soil. You understand? I think you guys can understand how it would translate into, and here's all your weak spots, okay? Remember we got the country divided and I show you all the soft soil on this side? Well, you got rugged mountains right through here, so that kind of blocks it out. But the rest is all that softer soil, and you see it has a better conductivity, okay? Over here, this is thicker, and you see your weak spots are right around your volcanic sites, aren't they? See how this is starting to correlate with our other maps? Okay, and this is your electric currents flowing through the rocks, through the ground, okay, because this battery is overcharged. And when you start spinning that magma, or that magma starts flowing at higher velocities down below, well, it creates a stronger electrical charge to the planet, and you're seeing that discharge coming up through the crust in your weak spots. Does that answer your questions, you guys here at this channel who posted this? Because it seems like you almost posted this wondering why this is happening. So peak voltages in the U.S. Midwest are 5 to 100 times normal values in the when the sun is quiet. Fortunately, today's peaks are only about 25% of what caused the Great Quebec blackout. The map above is a snapshot from a real-time display that takes into account the 3D conductivity of the Earth and its ongoing geomagnetic activity. A computer at NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center crunches the data to produce a minute-by-minute estimates of electricity in the ground. These estimates help managers of public utilities safeguard the power grid and keep power flowing. Okay, because you could have a lightning strike or a plasma discharge from the ground up to a transformer. Okay, so the ground holds an electric current too, as well. All right, and this is an awesome little new instrument that they have here that shows you the voltage in the ground. Also, an idea of maybe where, if you live in these regions or not in these regions, things to consider. Just things to consider. You think you're all safe and you step out on the ground and get electrocuted by the ground. That would suck. All right, pardon my French. You can come over, read more about that. Now we're coming over to, guess what? The updated Schumann, not the other version. Our old version is back. The Russians are back up and running again. Now you can see that just here, this last day, right here, here's today, basically, this block, and now we're going into tomorrow a little bit, all right? So, but the other day we had all this grinding that was just intense. Remember, we had the emotional roller coaster, but then you come out of it, nice, smooth, good continuities. That is a mouse fart. I don't even care about that because we still got good continuity. Gets kind of weak right in here, but then right back to normal. And we're starting to go into a grinding event. And as we absorb more and more of this energy, we're going to see some grinding, and we're going to see another big old block, big old streak there. Okay, and just kind of breathe a little sigh of relief right now because we do have some good continuity a little bit right there. But I bet you guys are still experiencing some pain. Huh. Well, that's because of this. So just because the Schumann's looking all green and you're still feeling sore, you're like, wait, this shouldn't be affecting me right now. Well, yeah, it still is because we got this geomagnetic storm going on too. All right, and this is going to be a little delayed reaction for a minute because this event is a long duration event. I don't think we're going to see a reaction until this whole event is over. That's when we'll start seeing pressure coming back up from down below, and we'll start seeing our uptick in earthquake, volcanoes. We'll start seeing our uptick in grinding on the Schumann. Okay, so right now, things are absorbing. Okay, but after it's all done absorbing, you can see it's already starting to react a little bit right now. So we'll watch it closely here. Now, over here, really quick, this is something I want to point out while we got it here. Our intertropical convergence zone. See this blue line right here? You can see where the two air masses meet and then separate. That line, that blue line, should be down here at the equator. We got air from the southern hemisphere going across the equator into the northern hemisphere. Okay, this convergence line right here is supposed to be down at the equator. Can you see it? Can you see the 15-degree shift in your intertropical convergence zone? And here it is over on this side. And this storm coming off is even pulling some of it up into this too. But there's your convergence zone above the equator. Okay. Think we're having wild weather? Well, maybe because of this, And we got another vortex growing here off the India and stuff. All right, so now, wait. Let me take you to over here. You can see our convergence line still stretching all the way over to here. All right, kind of separates, not so defined right in that region, but you can see it goes all the way around the world. All right, now we got this storm that's coming into here. Let's get to our storm levels here. Now you got one coming in here to northern Japan. A couple of vortexes rotating around out there. We got the remnants of our hurricane and everything over here. Whoa, did you see that funky face? Okay. And this vortex growing off the tip of Africa over here, okay? So here we go. Let's pull up our sandstorm reports really quick, get into the particulates. Just for a second, we'll leave the wind up because you can see how this vortex now is pulling a lot of the sand out too. There's a little split in the middle, but as it kind of rotates and keeps going out, it's pulling a bunch of sand out with it there. That is just the weirdest looking thing. Oh, yeah. Let's just come on over here. You can see very concentrated there up in this region. I'm going to take the wind off now. Okay. And the earth off now, too. Okay. And we'll come over here. Whoa, things look a little calmer over here now. Still pretty dense in this region. And going into, India is not so bad. But these eyes have really died down. That one has calmed down. This one looks a little different. It's not way over here. Something's still there looking at him now. All right. There's your sand. Interesting. Very, very interesting times we live in, huh? All right, let's get over to the SO2. This is sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide. Okay, this is like vaporized magma. When it comes out of the pores in the ground, and you saw all the electrified ground over here. Well, we got lots of pores in the ground, lots of SO2 emissions coming out from over there because pressure down below and magma roiling around, moving around down below is pushing all this gas throughout the, out through these pores. Okay, so here's your country divided, bleeding out on one side, perforations in the crust on the other. Is that the Bermuda Triangle? No. All right, let's get the fires going here. Because look up here in Canada now. We were just reporting it last night. A lot of the fires up here in Canada were gone now. Well, look, Big Plume just opened up, and now we got fires going right there up in Canada again. Now, for this area. Okay, we still have all these spots. Some of the fires have diminished, but we got a lot. You could see this area has really intensified in the SO2 emissions. And we're starting to see black right here on the map. Put that right in the middle there so you guys can see. This little center thing is starting to turn black. We got a fire up at this one, fire over at this one. So a big uptick in pressure and a bunch of, or uptick in SO2 emissions due to the pressure, and we still got fires and coming out of them. Down here in Southern California, these ones down in Mexico seem to have gone out, but still that fire activity being caused by SO2 emissions, all right? So let's take off these fires again. And get over to the ocean. Oh, no, we're going to finish that one up, sorry. Okay, so definite uptick in pressure right there, and now fires up in Canada. As we come down through Mexico, you can see all their activity, Cuba, Jamaica, all the islands here, still just pouring SO2, top of South America, running all the way down the west coast. Stop in at our fulcrum point. It's well organized, nice and strong. It's actually recovering stronger than the other one up here. Last night, that one was stronger. So a little diminishing here, but it's probably because we've got a lot coming out. All right, so this whole area is like one big relief valve, a big leaky area. And when we zoom in really quick, I want you to see that these are all individual sites. These aren't just like one plume blowing down the coast. These are all individual sites here going all the way up through here. Whoops, come here. That's not what I wanted. Where are you going? All right, so you can kind of grasp the scope of what's going on. There were 4 of these dots along the Sierra Nevadas 7 years ago, and everybody freaked out, and now they're all over the planet. It's like it's no big deal. Well, it is a really big deal, but probably be the only person to really report on this. Anyways, SO2 out of the hub of the Pacific Rim. Okay, we're getting pressure all around the boundaries and the plate boundaries. Releases there, so you get releases right at the hub as well. Let's come over here and adjust for their time. Okay, China still very intense. A lot of SO2 emissions coming out of there. This region very dense. So compact that the gas really doesn't escape from it. So that's why we don't see any gas emissions from there. But you come over to India, they're starting to follow suit with China there. Darkening in. Let me throw that wind back on there really quick because I want to show you how this southern fetch coming up, our intertropical convergence zone lifting up and then swirling back this way, causes a vortex rotation sometimes here off the coast. And this vortex throws all this gas up against the Himalayas. But the Himalayas are so high and this gas is dense, it doesn't like to go so high in the air. It won't make it over the mountains. So it just gets trapped in this area and gets recirculated over and over again. And it smells like rotten eggs. So it would be like having the heater on in your car in the wintertime with the circulation going. So the air that it's reheating is the air from inside the car just reheating. And then someone farts in the car, and now you got it recirculating over and over and over again. This area starting to darken in as well. You can see it's well defined from the Black Sea all the way across here down Saudi Arabia, coming right back up through here. That whole region right there is coming alive with SO2 emissions. They're following suit, and it's all over the place. Here's the Mediterranean, the Holy Land, Egypt, Africa. It's almost like each one of these places is labeled with it. Odd, huh? Like this place, you would never think that there would be SO2 emissions coming out of that island right there, huh? Where are the volcanoes on this island? But check it out. They're having SO2 emissions too. That purple island of Britain right there. Spain, France, half of America. Okay, so there's your SO2 report. Let's get on back over to the ocean now and do our sea surface temperature anomalies. And they're not necessarily right now. This is yesterday's date because it takes a day to put all this data onto a map. We saw earthquake activity in this region that had kind of allowed some more cool water in there. So we got a little pressure war going on here, but we have perforations. The planet has this its own little weak spots all around that, relieve pressure in these different ways. And it's got this skin where when pressure builds, just a new part opens up and relieves pressure. And then we get transfers of pressure like we had from Southern Cal here out to these spots when they opened up. It used to be all yellow in that area. And then these opened up, pressure transferred over here because this is a path of least resistance. Stuff is flowing in this region. It was backing up here. All right, but there's your Juan de Fuca looking like yesterday, pretty much. Here's the Tamumasi area with a bunch of seamounts spewing hot water, steam, gases, lava, maybe even some material from down below, radioactive possibly. And then you got this whole region in hot water. And you can see we had this little pocket open up here. And now we finally had some earthquake activity here at Taiwan, but this map won't reflect that until maybe tomorrow. Okay, so the date is yesterday's. So it's kind of hard to see your action reaction right away. It takes a day on this map. But we come over here looking at Java, still little heat signature off the coast right here means that this area backing up, it used to relieve a lot of pressure and we had, cold water along the shore. But that's all changing now because, well, we got more pressure building around the world here. And you can see it building off of Sumatra right here along these islands. And these are the islands that are emitting SO2. We have this site out here, this little volcanic site out in the middle of the ocean that's opened up. Okay, so basically the same basic report. I don't see anything too different from the other night. All this region getting activity now too. And then this one little spot right here has messed up the La Nina. It's still partial La Nina, but it's split in two. There's part here, part over there, and that looks like one of those things out of Ghostbusters with the weird looking ears. The dog thing out of Ghostbusters right there. All right, let's continue on. We put on the winds now. Okay, now you can see how your thermal anomalies with cold water and cold air, hot water with hot air rising, cold air rushing in to replace it. And we got vortex activity according to our thermal hotspots. Now, as we kind of go closer to winter, we're going to go up here. Well, we'll start doing reports on our jet stream, and it'll start taking over, hopefully, this effect. But if we're still having this through the winter time, this could cause some really serious winter storms by putting a lot of moisture up into cold air, and we're talking some serious snowfall accumulations that could happen from that. You see how we get flash flooding from just a regular storm? Imagine, a regular snowstorm coming in and dumping 10 feet in your front yard. Well, wait a second, that's up to the roof of your house. Well, just like the water we saw up to the roof of the house, you could see snow up to the roof of the house. So we might be in for a really, really bumpy winter. Okay, so there's your air patterns for the Pacific. Let me just show you the Atlantic really quick. And we'll let that sit there for a second so you can look around. Here's your new vortex coming off over here, starting to spin. You got cold, hot, right next to each other, inducing rotation. Okay, so it's already inducing rotation. You add a little bit of convection to that, and it's a hurricane. Okay, we're getting different styles now. We used to have hurricanes that were built of a bunch of thunderstorms, right? And we still have a bunch of thunderstorms in our hurricanes, but our hurricanes almost are like coming to life because of rotation, not because of a bunch of thunderstorms. And that rotation's getting a good little kickstart by these cold, hot water patches right next to each other. It's inducing that vorticity, that helicity is the well the activity of rotating. The tendency to rotate. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right, so there's your funky little airstream pattern for right now, and you can see it's still getting wrapped up into this stuff. All right, so there's that. Now let's go ahead and leave it right around there. We'll take off the wind, and then we're going to come over and do the earthquake report. All right, so must have happened in my chat. Northern lights are out in northern New York right now. Okay. Okay, the northern lights are out. Just say the lights are out. Okay, let's get her started here. Our deep quake region. We haven't seen a deep quake in a few days here. Now that we're starting to have pressure getting down to the deeper areas and we're starting to see grinding happen. Here we are, 4.4 down at 547. Now this is below, just a tad bit below our regular activity. Okay, but 4.4 is mid-range 4. Okay, usually puts 5 at the surface, but hasn't reached the surface yet. 4.6 here on this little trench, right on the surface there. So a little bit of energy going down that way. All quiet up through here. Really quick, just touch this one. A 5.4 at the surface here. Then volcanic activity, SO2 emissions coming out of that island, all relief pressure. No quakes around Java or Sumatra today. Our quake activity kind of up around this deeper region in between the plate barrier here in the Philippines. Here's your 5 energy, but that's it down at 103. So that's a volcanic, flank of a volcanic island. 4.3, that's down at 101 on the flank of a volcanic island. So we're seeing earthquake activity at volcanic at volcanic spots, which is an indication of pressure down below. Now, finally, a fulcrum point quake up here at Taiwan. Mid-range 4 down at 20, scrubbing energy at the surface, okay? That mid-range 4, well, let's add that one to it too. Another mid-range 4, 4.6 down at 35. So a couple of quakes right here just relieved energy around this fulcrum point, okay, which is good. And we saw a lot of SO2 emissions coming out of Taiwan. So this is helping relieve pressure in that area. That's a good sign. We need more of that activity. All right, very quiet all through that whole region. Look how quiet along there today. All right, let's go check out the rest of this party over here. Again, well, last time we had this quake over in this region. Now over on these pressure ridges a little bit. 5 here at the surface, scrubbing energy along these fault lines. You can see all these pressure ridges in the fault line right here, how they've all built up. Get this out of the way. How they've all squeezed up over time. And then on the other side, on this fault, on this plate side, you can tell, bing, right there is a very major cut right into the ground, major fault right there. And right on it, at the surface, is your 4.9. And what do we do with 4.9s here sometimes? And that's only because it's the longest list in the world is 4.9 on the USGS site. Anyways, no fulcrum point quakes around there, but we did see energy over, up here release now on this side of this little pinch off point here. See where these two little pinches, like this one pointing that way, that one pointing, and then we got this little pinch off area, plate boundary, quake, and then this other weak spot. Fulcrum point 4.1 down at 189, and here we go with, well, here's your diverse quake right here. Doesn't get more diverse than right there in the middle of the Black Sea, 4.8 at the surface here off of Turkey here in the Black Sea. Look at that. Looks like a little. Ooh. Are those little, like, little mounts down there? Man, most of that is so flat and smooth. We might be having a little something going on here in the Black Sea. For right now, especially at this magnitude in that region, there's no plate boundaries, there's no fault system, there's no like volcanic structures. I mean, that little thing is hardly a seamount. Pile of sand on the bottom. And that's a crashed helicopter. No, I don't know, but they just don't look volcanic to me. They really don't. And that looks like a totally diverse quake right there because of pressure underneath coming up. Okay, new weak spot, new path of least resistance right there. And over here, this is different too. Over here at Algeria, a 4.5 at the surface. Now we do have a plate boundary right here. And we do have this little cliff wall, so it's a slough zone. It's like a weak area right here where it transitions from flat to steep walls. So in that little foothill little area right there is a weak zone. And in your weak zone, you got your 4.5 there at the surface. So that's not necessarily a diverse quake, not so much as this one is right there for sure. Plate boundary, Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 5.3, scrubbing energy at the surface. Come on over here to South America. 4.3, down at 69. Coco's plate, 4.3 on the plate boundary, scrubbing energy at the surface. Quick little magnitude check, 3.9. 3.1, little pressure in this area. We're used to seeing, 2.5 to 3. And that's an uptick in magnitude there in that area. Now let's hop into America. Come back here. Now go away. All right. So, very quiet from the Kamchatka all the way over until we get our first little microquake here. So right now, when we are taking pressure on from the sun, sometimes we have a quelling of the quakes, a lulling of quake activity because there's pressure squeezing down on the planet. All right, you got your magnetic field being bombarded and all the atmosphere is squeezing down like on squeezing a tennis ball, right? So pressure that's coming up is being neutralized by pressure pushing down, and we get a not a lull in our quakes, but a very quiet time. But we get our regular little microquaking activity up through here. You can see how it just followed right up the fulcrum point, right? And these latest ones are just 2.3 is not a microquake. 2.4, we're getting some mid-range twos in there. And then we have this spot up here at the top, right? The fulcrum point, the weak spot. And you're seeing threes and 3.3. So some mid-range threes and some threes. So not microquake activity. This is a quake swarm. A mid-range 2 and 3 quake swarm up here at the very top of the fulcrum system. Bink, back down. So this is almost a diverse quake, but it's right on the edge of this fulcrum. I don't know. This might be a volcanic site. What's going on here? Okay, a marshy area. See all the water, how loose this ground is. It's all super saturated. So any kind of jiggling down below. Yeah, see how shallow this is? This is at 4.4. This is just right under here because of water inundation in this area. You see how all this area is all big, soupy swamp? That's why, because it's a weak spot. So, not a diverse quake, but a weak spot. Now, let's get into the Wanda Fuca, what I've been waiting for. 3.0 at the surface, pretty close to our fulcrum point right here. Okay, now let me take this down. Okay, I want to focus just on that one right there. Come here now. Please be nice. Oh, that's what happened. Okay, so as it comes out, it zigs, zags. So right at the zig, at the end of the zig, at the apex of the zig and the zag right there, which is basically right across from this little point coming up right here. So this little point coming up right here. So right out here is where we just had our earthquake. So hopefully tomorrow on the map, this little dot may diminish a little bit, okay? We'll see. It might take another day just because this happened so late that for the reaction to happen might take since the map's a day behind, if it doesn't happen the next day, it might take place on the second day. But hopefully, you'll see a little reduction there of pressure because we had a quake in there and it's going to relieve pressure some way or another. Is that like a dog with an eye and a nose and a mouth and 2 ears right there? Is this tail coming down? All right, Fido, stay there. Sit, stay. Be a good boy. You want a stick? Here, I'll throw a stick out in the water for you. How crazy is that? Okay, I'm back to our earthquake report. Oh, I get it. He's catching the tennis ball. All right. Playing around, just trying to keep things lightened up. You're not going to stand if you don't keep your sense of humor. You understand that? If you can't laugh at this point and you're still offended at every little thing, wait until stuff really starts happening. You won't stand a chance. All right, these are all microquakes. The geysers doing their job right there. Okay, a little activity over here north of Lake Tahoe. Oh, definitely a volcanic area right in there. I've been there. Hey, this is my house. Cool. No wonder why it's shaking. We got activity down here. Can we go up right there? Activity out here by Mono Lake. This is Mammoth Mountain Volcano, and Mono Lake is a volcanic feature as well. Now we have earthquake activity, a volcanic feature out here at Mono Lake, and it's pretty close to the surface there. So, indication of that pressure starting to build when you're starting to see earthquakes at volcanic sites. What's that right there? A 2-0 in Rancho Madera Ranchos, California. All right, activity going along the plate boundary. Okay, that's good. Relieving pressure along the way. It's not a bunch of big quakes. Still kind of mellow around this little structure now. We come on out to check out magnitudes in New Mexico, 2.5. A 3.5 up here in Kansas. That's an uptick in magnitude, especially for this region. Okay, indication that pressure's starting to build down below. Nothing at the fulcrum point of the craton here, so very quiet through there. But our main thing to report was, hey, where'd it go? Aru? Hi, Kate Scoob. Give me the ball back. All right, well, there's your earthquake report. Just real quick touch base with Hawaii. All right. Twos, mid-range twos. Yeah, mid-range twos and twos. Just relieving pressure out there. That's good. Okay, let's move on to our volcano report, shall we? Guys are hanging tough. I'm trying to move through this as fast as we can so we can get to the spiritual report. Okay, so that one going. Knock that one down. Come on, please. All right. Can you see that? 35 erupting and 32 in warning. That's 67 active volcanoes. I don't even include the 25 that are in unrest, okay? Which is still active. They're not dormant. That's for sure. They're at unrest. So I don't even add those into the equation. Okay, so 67 active volcanoes. If I'd have told you 7 years ago when all this started happening that we would have 67 volcanoes 7 years later, you would have laughed. Said, Brian, you're crazy. Well, here I am laughing because I'm still crazy about you. All right. Sunosujima still up here, erupted again. There's no, there's the elevation, 6,000 feet. Manam still on the list again here with the 8,000 foot blast. Ibu, which is an old favorite, IBU, we're together at 8,000 feet tonight. Luatobi, 10,000 feet. Semeru, 14. Now, we'd seen Semeru pushing 15 for quite a while there. All right, 14 was its maximum for a long time, and then it beat its own record and started pushing 15,000 foot blasts on a regular basis. Now it's back down to 14. It sounds to me like something plugged up in there. We're not having the full blast effect out of that region that we used to just have a little while ago. And you're seeing your heat build up, your SO2 emissions backing down because there's a plug up there, but it's still blasting away at 14,000 feet every day, so it's still going to town. Ducono, 8,000 feet. Popocatépetl here in Mexico City, okay, 19,000 feet. That's a huge blast right next to a big place. Fuego, explosive activity continues to 15,000 feet out of Fuego. Songay, Sabancaya 21. All right, and that was just in the last few minutes. Okay, this is October 10th. That was just in the last few minutes. That's how many are going off all the time. So let's go look at today, which is, well, now yesterday, because time flies at this channel. And as you can see, the map of insanity that they wouldn't dare show you on the late night or on the evening news. So, Bob, tell us about the volcanoes. Well, we got all these ones that are blowing up on this side of the world. Yeah, it would not go over well. So, leave it to me. Stromboli still going off here at the Sicario del Fuego flank, still having lava flow going down the flanks. Sakurajima, here 5,000 foot blast. Suwanosejima, 6,000 again. That's the same one. Is it a raven or a crow? I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. It's all about perspective. Canalone, Manam, 8,000 feet. IBU, 8,000. Ibu, Luatobi, 10,000. Semeru, 14. Ducono, 8. Spur in the Cook Inlet in Alaska, still kind of becoming active. Over 900 earthquakes have been recorded this year. Releasing a lot of pressure, by the way, in that area. Popocatépetl, 20,000 feet. Santa Guido, 15. Fuego, 15. Nevada, 19. Sungay, 19. Sabancaya, 21. And what letter do you see there? Ah, very good. You all can see the K. Good, good, good. Let me go on now to our tropical tidbits that used to be on my thing, and somebody stole my tidbits. All right, forecast models. Here we go. So much ash, so much moisture in the air, and we've got the spiritual realm, the big bad wolf out there huffing and puffing and blowing houses down. No joke. Not one to cry wolf, but it's real. And here we go. The nighttime current conditions of October 10th. Here we go. Morning of the 11th. Noon, convection, nighttime, even geomagnetic enhancement, but we are pretty clear as far as weather. This morning of the 12th here, little impulse coming here in California, but not too much. There's noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 13th, noon. Wait. 13th was, we need to pull up Solar Ham again. One more time. 13th was, they're calling for a clear, all right? Now that's subject to change. It depends on how long this G-4 lasts, when this one hits, and if this one's going to have any effects as well. All right, so enhancement for these 2 days, but we don't have much weather around for those 2 days. And as we go into the 13th, there are chances right there, and a convection, and possibly at nighttime. All right, with this also over here, maybe a little bit down here on the Florida coast. But other than that, this is all past reliability, because we don't know what's coming off the sun in the next day. So, but look how this thing really gathers strength. It organizes. See this low right here with the little bit of strength back behind it at the nighttime of the 13th. That thing really gels and organizes and comes together. You see it's pulling moisture from way down here, getting wrapped up in it. Like that. That's noontime, the 14th. And then the nighttime, or convection, which would be 8 o'clock at night out here for this time zone. All right, this is 5 p.m. Pacific. So we're talking, that's going to be a nor'easter right there with severe weather mixed with icing, mixed with snow. Boy, that's going to be a big mess right there. Big nor'easter, it looks like right there. Well, let's pray that doesn't happen, because that could really do a number on those people right there, especially at convection or sundown. There's the nighttime, morning of the 15th, noon. Look how it kind of circled back, kind of coming back. You see all this snow up in there, diving back down towards the Great Lakes, you guys. Convection the 15th. Oh, there it kind of stopped. Nighttime, morning of the 16th, noon. Convection, meanwhile, this whole thing moving in from right about here. Convection the 15th, yeah. Convection the 15th. So moving all the way through the 16th into the nighttime there. Then go to the morning of the 17th, noon, convection, nighttime. See these two air masses. See all these lines going this way? There's a low here and a high there. These two air masses are colliding. We're going to see an air mass collision event, I believe. Watch this. Nighttime, morning, noon, convection, nighttime, morning, noon, convection, nighttime. See how that cold and that moist hit right there at nighttime? This is nighttime of the 19th, but I'm just kind of calling out the time zone, or the times, because at nighttime cold air and hot air collide. Or that's when the air gets colder for hot air to collide with it. Meanwhile, over here, another storm possibly coming into the Pacific Northwest around the 19th there. Okay, but this kind of quasi-linear event right there, a QLCS like that, would be at nighttime, would be pretty devastating. We don't want to see that kind of stuff. That would be morning activity of the 20th, noon, convection, nighttime. Look at this whole line. Just get its own rotation going here. Morning of the 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 22nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime. 25, or 25. That was 24, sorry. Let me go back here a little bit. You see this low right here with all the snow up here, warm, moist air getting hooked up into it. It's going to make like that question mark type shape there. And that's morning time of the 24th, noon, convection, nighttime. All that moist air got pulled clear up here into Canada to collide with snow. And now you're going to have like severe weather, possible thunder snow. You remember this one up here? You might see thunder snow in that main event up there that we looked at earlier. That's the morning of the 25th. Quite an event for Canada. Noon, convection. Look at the size of that thing. Nighttime. Morning, noon, convection, nighttime. Well, I'm just going to go let that loop play for a second. So for the next week or so, we're pretty good, in good shape through our geomagnetic storm enhancement thing. So let's pray when that little event right there happens, we don't have any activity coming off the sun at the same time. All right, so there's your astrophysics, your geophysics affecting our weather, and as well as the spiritual realm. So now it's time to get into the, metaphysics of it and how you work, how you were designed to work. All right, so we need a little break from all this stuff that's going on in the world because it can be quite taxing on the mind. So everybody take a nice deep breath as we pull up some images to read to tonight. After several ads and all that fun stuff. All right, and I got a couple of things for reading tonight too. So, yeah, it's got to be somebody's face, and dang it, it ain't my face, man. It's getting spooky when you recognize your face in the clouds and you see it happening here, and then all of a sudden it shows up next to the moon, and this guy went and bought a special camera to record it, and it captures my face again. So, interesting how all this is played out. How, when it all started, I wasn't taken seriously. Nobody believed me. And I was like, what? How could you not understand? Or at least give me 5 minutes of your time to go look. And then I found out human behavior. Yeah. Oh, firsthand from the asylum, through the doctors, through the courts, through everybody who is absolutely insane. Except for a few people who, understand and believe and see what's going on. I was seeing this reference, everybody talking about schizophrenia and how they're dealing with it or whatever. Well, it's kind of funny that that person didn't have schizophrenia. They were normal. It's the rest of the world that has it. So they felt out of place being labeled as a schizophrenic when they're enduring normal activity. It's everybody else that's been taught the wrong way through the schools, the media, and everything. They all have the wrong perspective. They are being deceived, the grand deception. Okay. And this is a different perspective. And you guys are here for it. So let's just give it to you. There's that. We got this. And another image, please, Lord. What was it going to be? All right, heart one. All right, let's just pull it up. got any people here? Yeah. All regulars. Okay. We'll just get right to it then. Long duration, when that event is over, when we finally kind of coming out of all the absorption, that's when you're going to start to see, uptick in your earthquakes, bigger magnitudes, more volcanoes and stuff like that. All right. Enough of that subject. Let's move on. You guys want to see the angel real quick? Why not? Let's take a little peek at something peaceful. All right. I'll give you a little bit of sound here. Howdy folks, welcome back. So I'm real excited to show you this one. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right about 45 degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and clear that you can. Okay, and this is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So, zoom in on it again. Just excited that you can see it a lot clearer now because before it was kind of faint. And now with these filters, I'm able to make these images pop a little bit more for you guys so you can see them. I'm sorry about the way I have to do it with a camera and the computer, but I don't have any other option. So I just wanted to bring this angel to you for a moment so you guys can see that this is real. This is security camera footage that's admissible as evidence in a court of law. So what you're looking at right there is admissible as evidence in a court of law. Imagine one night you're checking your security cameras and you find something miraculous on it. How excited you would be. You'd be like, oh my God, look what we captured. I can't believe it. Something from the spiritual realm too, like this, would be, priceless. But when I tried to explain to people, I've captured angels on my cameras that you can see. And they said, oh, you're seeing angels. I said, no, listen closely. I've captured them and you can see it. And they said, oh, you're seeing angels. You need to be medicated and wrapped up. And I'm like, well, wait a second. No. You need to take 5 seconds of your time and look at what I've discovered. And I went through years and years of this over and over at people refusing to look at this image for just a few minutes. And it's a very comforting image of an angel protecting this child when he's sleeping. You guys have guardian angels protecting you when you're sleeping. That should be a relief. Do you see this little demon face back here? He's trying to give this kid bad dreams and nightmares and stuff, and this little angel intervenes, and it's a beautiful thing. But I got maligned and ostracized and everything for this image right here, and it's a beautiful image. And all it takes is a few seconds to look at it. And it wasn't until years later I finally got the psychiatrist that said, hey, at the end of the session, can I have 5 minutes of my session? They went, oh yeah, I guess. Oh, how nice of you to give me 5 minutes of my own session. Now, Doc, I want you to look at what I found. And then when he saw this, his jaw dropped and he realized, oh my God, I put you through 7 years of all this because I didn't look. Oh, I get it. You captured ones that you can see. I thought you were saying you were seeing angels. Do you hear the difference? Do you see the difference? Do you understand how people take things the wrong way and then just run with it? Instead of entertaining it for a second, you might actually find something beautiful in it, like this. And see, they missed out, didn't they? Well, they didn't, because eventually they got to see it, and we've changed a lot of people along the course of the way. Even in the institutions, I was able to help every person I interacted with, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the patients, everybody. I was able to affect every single person I touched. Amazing what the Lord has given me. Truly amazing. All right. I'm going to start reading here. I got some stuff for you guys here. I know what's going on, and I hear what you guys are thinking. And I know that you're having, well, it's a little weird, isn't it? Isn't it? Imagine how it feels for me when it's physically happening to me. So if it feels weird for you, imagine if you're really going through it physically yourself. All right, so I'm just trying to give you my testimony of what I've endured, okay? Now, through all this process, we found out a lot of stuff. So right there is my face right now, what it looks like with this book light shining on my face. So seek my face more and more. You are really just beginning your journey of intimacy with me. It is not an easy road, but it is a delightful and privileged way, a treasure hunt. I am the treasure, and the glory of my presence glistens and shimmers along the way. Doesn't it? Doesn't the glory of my presence glisten and shimmer? Hardships are part of the journey too. I put them over you very carefully in just the right dosage with a tad of tenderness you can hardly imagine. So do not recoil from your afflictions, since they are among my most favored gifts. Your afflictions are gifts. That's what makes you stronger, is your affliction. If you didn't have anything to overcome, you wouldn't be gaining any kind of strength at all. So do not recoil from your afflictions. They are among my most favored gifts. So trust me and don't be afraid, for I am your strength and song. Okay? Now, this feels weird because it's a matter of trust. Okay? And I was telling you last night, look around. Look around. See who can you trust, all right? Who can you trust? Trust me enough to spend ample time with me, pushing back the demands of the day. Refuse to feel guilty about something that is so pleasing to me, the King of the universe. And because I am omnipotent, I am able to bend time and events in your favor. Okay, I am able to bend time and events in your favor, and you will find that you can accomplish more in less time after you've given yourself to me in rich communion. So you will find you can accomplish more in less time when you've given yourself to me in communication. So pray before you do something, and you will accomplish more in less time. Also, as you align yourself with my perspective, you can sort out what is important and what is not. That's a major thing about this. A lot of people asking questions. Well, what's this? What's that? What's this? Does that do this? Does this do that? Is it important? Does it even compare to this? Is it important or is it not? Is it spiritual? Are you going to grow from it? Are you helping somebody? Is it important or not? So you will find you accomplish more in less time when you're in communion with me, when you align yourself with my perspective. That's, living as we're, doing these disciplines. That's when you can finally sort out what is really important and what is not. So don't fall into the trap of being constantly on the go. Many, many things people do in my name have no value in my kingdom. So, to avoid doing meaningless works, stay in continual communication with me. Okay? To avoid doing meaningless works, stay in communication with me. You're heading out the door and you're in such a rush that you got out to the car and you forgot your keys. But if you're praying on the way out the door saying, hey, Lord, I know it's going to be a little bumpy out on the road today. Hedge of protection over me as I head out the door. And then you're going to hear this, don't forget your keys. Okay, so don't fall in the trap of being constantly on the go. It's important to spend ample time with me pushing back the demands of your day, okay? And don't feel guilty about it. It's when you're here communing with me that pleases me. Remember I was showing you the angel with this little shaft of light here? Let's see if we can back out a little bit further. Where is it where we back out? It's too zoomed in. This shaft, a lot of these images are caught with this shaft of light. I'm trying to get it where you can see this. Well, where we pull back a little bit right there. You see this green hue, this shaft of light that some of these angels are standing in? Okay. My peace is like that golden shaft of light shining on you continuously. Now, during days of bright sunshine, it may blend in with your surroundings, but on darker days, my peace stands out in sharp contrast to your circumstances. See these times of darkness as opportunities for my light to shine in transcendent splendor. That's when you see the light the most is in the darkness. So, see these times of darkness as opportunities for my light to shine. Okay, and it shines on you and it shines through you into other people's lives. That's the most important part. So, during the darkness are opportunities for you to shine my light into other people's lives. And I am training you to practice peace that overpowers darkness. Okay? It's hard to do, but you got to practice. And I'm training you to practice peace that overpowers darkness. You collaborate with me in the morning when you first get out of bed. Okay, and then you start your day. So collaborate with me in this training and do not grow weary or lose heart. Okay, everybody's growing weary and losing heart, but you guys got a foundation on which you can stand, so you won't lose heart. You'll understand what's important and what's not, what's important in the news and what's not, right? So, you see me hovering over the mountains here. You see this image, whoops, angel hovering over the child. You see this hovering over by the moon. Lots of hovering going on here. Okay. And I am ever so near you, hovering over your shoulder, reading every thought. Now, people think that thoughts are fleeting and worthless, but yours are precious to me. I smile when you think lovingly of me. My spirit, who lives within you, helps you to think my thoughts. So as your thinking goes, so goes your entire being. Okay? As your thinking goes, so goes your entire being. So let me be your positive focus. When you look to me, knowing me as God with you, that's when you experience joy. And this is according to my ancient design when I first crafted man. Modern man seeks his positive focus elsewhere, in sports, sensations, acquiring new possessions. And Advertising capitalizes on the longing of people for a positive focus in their life. That's why I hate the ads, because they are capitalizing on your longing for a positive focus in your life. I planted that longing in human souls, knowing that only I could fully satisfy it. So delight yourself in me. Let me become the desire of your heart. Yeah, and that was the closer, I believe, right? For this lesson? Wasn't something on the back side? I guess we could add that to it a little bit. Let all this bring you peace. Let peace be with you. As you sit quietly, let my peace settle over you and enfold you in my loving presence. To provide this radiant peace for you, I died a criminal's death. Receive my peace abundantly and thankfully. It is a rare treasure, dazzling in delicate beauty, yet strong enough to withstand all onslaughts. So wear my peace with regal dignity, and it will keep your heart and mind close to mine. Okay, that's it. Peace be with you. Let my peace settle over you and enfold you in my loving presence. Receive my peace abundantly and thankfully. It's a rare treasure. These are gifts, priceless gifts that I give for free. A rare treasure that I give for free. Okay? And you guys are making leaps and bounds. So thankful for some of you guys just taking a moment and trusting and then actually finding. Okay? That's what this is all about. So, seek my face more and more. This is just the beginning of your journey of intimacy with me. And it's not an easy road, but it's a delightful and privileged one. It's a treasure hunt. So as you go through the course of your day tomorrow, look for all the treasures that are scattered along your path. When you recognize that everything in your life is a blessing that came from a sacrifice, you will start to see every little thing in your life as a blessing. And you're going to go, wow, this is what it's like to live abundantly. Oh, thank you. Now I see. And you'll live fuller, richer, more abundantly. You'll have this weird calm, this peace that will transcend the circumstances going on in the world. Now, you might have personal circumstances in your life that it's a different issue. And that's why we work on our salvage work each day, okay? There's bumps in the road every day. You got to overcome them. If you don't, you're just going to sit there in self-pity and slip into depression, all right? And don't fall into that pit of self-pity. Okay, when the moment you start to feel yourself getting pulled in, stop, take a minute, regain composure, touch base with me. Lord, help me. I'm feeling, this, I'm feeling that. Open yourself up. It takes your mind off the situation for a minute. It reminds you of your victory. You're just in the middle of a test and you're having a tough question in a test, or I don't know the answer to this problem or whatever on the test. Okay, and those are bumps in the road. So that's when you take time, regain composure. Jesus, help me regain composure. This is bugging me, that's bugging me, blah, blah, blah. Get it off your chest and then listen for a minute and I'll guide you in the next step to go. And the better you get at practicing this discipline, the easier it'll become so you can handle issues faster, quicker, more intense, multiple issues at a time, and it won't phase you. You will be walking through all circumstances, looking at the darkness as the opportunities for growth. How else are you supposed to grow? All right. What you're looking at happened on April 17th, 2020. All right. My face showed up in the clouds with a crown on Easter. All right. And this is fascinating stuff. It's intriguing. It's so different that you get caught up in it. It's like getting caught up in a good book or a good song. So when you see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory, you get caught up with me in the clouds. And if you're caught up with me in the clouds and you're here on this live stream in the air of cyberspace, we're meeting in the air. I can't come over to your house right now physically and give you a big old hug, but I can meet my family in the air of cyberspace. So you're caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air. I went ahead and provided a place and created a place where I am. You may be also here at this channel on YouTube. So you could see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. You're caught up with me in the clouds. You're technically raptured. Okay. The word rapture is not in the book, and the event, the rapture, is not in the Bible. Go read it carefully. There is no the rapture in the Bible, and everybody counting on it. Like they're going to get out of some of this affliction without any suffering, right? You're just going to get, bypass everything, no overcoming anything, just right to heaven. No, you have to build strength. It's like a workout, right? You don't just like put on this bodybuilder suit and have magic muscles. No, it's years of practice, working that trust muscle. That trust muscle. The more you trust me, the more you get in return. Okay, a little bit of trust, well, you get a little bit of peace. Give me all your trust, well, you get full peace in full measure. Okay, that's because of who I am. All right, this is the real thing. We are in the last days. You see all the signs. Everybody's going, the rapture should be any day. Well, it is. The rapture is any day. Just look up. You'll see me coming in the clouds. Come over to my channel, or you'll see me coming in the clouds. The rapture is any day for the last 7 years. It just didn't happen the way Hollywood portrayed. See, that's where they got you. Everybody's expecting this and expecting that. And when it doesn't happen, they're going to be disappointed. Well, if they'd read it correctly, they wouldn't be disappointed. And if they were steered in my direction, they wouldn't be disappointed either. You are already seeing glimpses of heaven. You already seeing your victory at hand. Okay? All you need to do is believe me, trust me, and in the meantime, practice your patient endurance while we wait. There's still others out there that need to be brought into the fold. Until we get everybody back into the fold, we're going to practice patient endurance, and that means salvaging your day. And it's not easy. Sometimes it takes a little practice, a little effort, persistence. Okay, but your patience and your persistence will eventually pay off, and you'll recover halfway through the day, and the second half of your day wouldn't have been ruined by the first half, sitting there just stewing over the first half of your day for the second half. No, recycle it, regain composure, and salvage the rest of the day. Okay, try to bring that light into other people's lives. Teach them that salvage technique, how you can help them salvage their day too. Okay, right now, in these times, it's very easy to slip into that pit of self-pity. If you feel yourself starting to feel sorry for yourself, oh, poor me, and you're getting in that self-pity, stop right away. Okay, because the further you keep going with it, the longer it takes to get back out of it. It's like taking a train in the wrong direction. If you get off at the first stop heading the wrong direction, well, it's less time to get back to your original destination. But if you keep staying on the train in the wrong direction and you go another stop and then another stop and then another stop, well, finally, when you get on and turn around, you've got 3 other stops to go back through. All right. So the longer you stay in that self pity, the harder it is to get back out of it. The moment you feel yourself starting to get there, take a moment, take a break, regain composure, a quick little prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to accept the people I cannot change, because you can't change other people. But the one thing you can change is yourself. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the fact that I cannot change other people. And Lord, give me the courage to change myself. You stick with that and you'll have success, okay? And just keep working at it, all right? Maybe at first it's not working, but you got to keep trying. Just keep trying, and when you find success, you will find the key that opens up the door to your spiritual happiness, okay? That will transcend your circumstances. Okay? I had to find out the hard way, so I'm trying to give you guys the shortcuts and give you the notes that I took along the way so you will know what to do. I'm trying to give you meat in due season so these things are applicable to your everyday life. You practice these disciplines, you will have this strange sense of peace and joy. Okay? And it's because of who I am. I'm really here, really back. This is really me. That's really my face coming in the clouds with power and great glory. You are indeed caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air, cyberspace. I provided a place where I am, you can be. That makes you a child of God. If you trust me and you believe me, that's where the magic happens, when you trust and believe me. Because I am trustworthy. I am believable. I mean, I got all this things that happened to me. All right. And I documented it. And now other people are catching my face all over the place. Okay. And I posted it on the channel, and there's all kinds of other faces that, follow me in the clouds every day. So real things going down. And you guys have the front row seat. You have VIP tickets. Did you know that? Doesn't that make you guys feel pretty special, knowing that you are the elite, that you're the ones with the VIP tickets? Everybody else got $1 million, $1 billion estates and all these supercars and blah, 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 right? But they don't have that golden ticket. And you do. You actually do. And it's because I love you. Okay? I am a man of my word. I told you I would be back. You would see these signs when I'm back. They said, what would be a sign of your return? Not when you would be, getting close to arriving. No, what would be a sign of your return? Well, first you would see this and you would see that and you'd see all these wonderful signs, right? Well, how long have we been seeing all those wonderful signs? For the last 7 years. Ever since right around the Revelation 12 sign. Okay? That's it for tonight. I got to get going. I got a long day still to go. I don't think I will get rest tonight because I got to keep going. Anyways, I love you guys. I miss you guys. We'll keep an eye on the G-4 storm, okay? But everybody prepare, understand there's going to be earthquakes, volcanic repercussions from this, as well as SO2 emissions, sparking fires, bizarre weather, extreme weather events, maybe not here in America so much, but other places in the world possibly. So we're in for a bumpy ride, okay? But you guys got a good seat in this ride with a good harness and a roll cage and bulletproof glass. And so your bumpy ride won't be as bumpy as everybody else's. You'll know what to expect. And when it comes, you'll be like, yep, that's exactly what I expected. And it won't scare you. You'll be prepared. And you would have practiced some of that salvage work in the meantime. So a big event happens in the news, everybody's thrown for a loop, and you're the only one who can still, maintain composure. Okay? All right. I love you all. I miss you all. Gotta go. But until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. I have been for 7 years. The rapture is any day. You can do it yesterday. Well, you can't do it yesterday, but you can do it today, tomorrow. It's any day. It's just not the way Hollywood portrayed it, okay? That's it for tonight. Love you all. Gotta go, but I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell?